Hey, what is up guys? Lee here, back with another video today. Today I bring you Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It is 11:05 where I'm at. I just came back from the theaters, watched the movie. This is my second viewing of Guardians 3. That tells you how much I really enjoyed this film. Not just as an MCU movie, but as a comic book movie in general. James Gunn has really hit the park with this one. Guardians 3 is set after the events of Endgame. We follow back up with Peter and the gang. Peter is still reeling with the loss of Gamora. He's an alcoholic drinker. He has not stopped mourning her. And this has affected the team that, it's just a regular occurrence. And some, take pity on Peter. I wish they kind of explored more into that a little bit. But, he realizes he's got to stop drinking. I was like, okay, that was done. I kind of minded a bit because it seemed like something important happened and they just kind of threw it away as a quick resolve due to actions that happened in the beginning of the movie, which I'm not going to give spoilers about. And then after that, we, dive a little bit more into Rocket with his past throughout the movie. I have to say, I can see why James Gunn has made a tweet about saying that really Rocket is the main character of Guardians. I can see it. I understand why now, but man, I'm gonna be honest. I was not expecting it to hit me like a freight train on this. I actually cried like twice in the first viewing, and even with the second viewing, I knew what was happening. I've seen the events unfolded and it still got me. That's how good it is. I don't want to get more into Rocket's, details because it's really the important factor within the story. I want to try to avoid spoilers the best I can. So I'm just going to give you a synopsis of his story arc through this. We finally get to, see his past, how he was made by the High-Evolutionary. He comes in this movie as a real threat. I'm kind of glad we stepped away from, sympathetic villains because, there's just so much sympathy you can go towards with a villain. We've done it since Killmonger to Thanos, and it's gonna bleed out dry to the point where they all have the same motives and it's just copy and paste of one another and then gets boring. I'm kind of glad that James Gunn kind of reverted back to having just, your villain is a straight up psychopath for the being of a straight up psychopath. Say what you want about Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. He was just a psychopath, but the thing is, it was the drug that caused him that way. If he didn't take it, he would be fine. He was just an egomaniac. But he wouldn't have been a murderous egomaniac. Whereas the High-Evolutionary, no, he's a piece of he is god-awful. You want to punch in the face real bad. And it's so satisfying seeing him crumble towards the end, getting defeated by our heroes. For other arcs for characters, I felt like they did a wonderful job with Nebula. She's come a long way since the first Guardians, where we met her as some batshit crazy assassin, raised by Thanos. But then we, flesh out her character throughout the years, especially even in the Avengers movies, which I'm kind of peeved that she didn't go toe-to-toe with Thanos, because that really seemed like an important thing that I feel like that should have happened within Endgame. But, after Endgame and seeing her character finally come to a full circle, finding peace within herself, I think James Gunn stuck the landing on that one. And, with Mantis, seeing her character arc as well was interesting. And, for this, you have to watch Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special to understand what happens. There's a plot point where it's, thrown out, mentioned that, spoiler, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds, or if you just don't care about it. Okay, spoiler, didn't say I didn't warn you. But Mantis is related to Peter. She also has her own arc from living in the shadow of Ego, doing his bidding, and just becoming a guardian. And they explore that she can become more outside of that stuff. And I'm curious to see where that character goes forward from the end of the movie. But I'll be rooting for her. Then we have Drax. I still, say what you want about Drax's character. He's a dumb big brute. I felt like he's kind of always that. And also his character arc finally closes within itself. But that's another thing I was kind of peeved about within Avengers Infinity War in Endgame, that Drax didn't go toe-to-toe with Thanos like Nebula. But you know what? It is what it is. That's in the past now. We're moving forward. But I'm glad that his character arc came to a close and full circle as well. And there's just a line in the movie I just don't want to spoil, where it summons perfectly up for Drax's character, and I thought it was so well done. And then we get to Gamora, who last we've seen was in Avengers Endgame. It's not the same Gamora who died in Infinity War. This is the 2014 version, way before she meets the Guardians, Peter, and all that. It's about the time where she was still raised by Thanos, being a killer, an assassin, and just not having real morals that we've seen that she had within Volume 2. It's interesting what they did with her character, because they could have gone with the same cliche where, she forgets her memories of Peter and the gang. And you know what? True love will always find its way towards the main protagonist, but I'm glad they didn't go that route. Some cliche romance between Peter and Gamora. What they did with this movie, without going spoilers again, I felt like it was a nice little bow. Close that chapter in Peter's life and Gamora's life to an end. Now, with all those being said, I do have one critique. Adam Warlock. Now, don't get me wrong. I was excited for this character ever since Volume 2, especially the way they teased it. Was like, oh, he's going to be the next big bad. But then later on, through the years, we learned that High-Evolutionary is the main bad. At first, I was disappointed. I feel like Adam shouldn't have been in this movie at all. But at the end, it kind of grew on me the second viewing. And I can't wait to see what they do with that character, evolving him through future projects as well. But I do have a small complaint. And you know what? You're going to hear people say that they dumbed him down for the fact of comedy, which I would argue a little bit against it. Yes, he is a comedic relief throughout the movie, but he's not just some dumb big brute baby who throws tantrums all the time. No, in context, he was literally born not that long ago from Volume 2 and Volume 3. He is literally an infant child, which it makes sense in context. And you know what? It's not going to be for everybody, and that's fine. But you're gonna have to accept the fact that, okay, he's a child, he's gonna grow out of this, he's gonna become more mature, he's gonna be learning, he's gonna go through his own character arcs within future projects, which I just hope they don't mess up. But let's just wait and see. As for cons, I think that was really the only problem I had with cons. I did enjoy the story. Really, the story was Rocket. He was the heart of the story. It was all about him. And I'm glad they did it justice. And also with other characters such as Kraglin, who wasn't in the film that much, but you know what? He even had his own nice little character arc. From Volume 2, after the death of Yondu, he was also training himself with Yondu's arrow and Mohawk helmet. I forgot the name. I'm gonna look it up later, try to see what it is. And then we see that throughout the film, not throughout the whole film, through the beginning, and then it's finally resolved within the end. And the way they did it, again, perfect execution of how they did that. And you know what? We also added another characters, Cosmo. I thought Cosmo was I really like Cosmo, especially, it's a talking Russian dog who has telepathy powers. There's only so much you can do with that, especially when the movie is already so packed, so much. But yeah, I did enjoy Cosmo. None of the animals in this movie, which of course are Disney products, were annoying in any way. So yeah, I'm glad that wasn't the case. I'm glad this movie, I was really hoping this movie would be the start of Phase 5 instead of Ant-Man Quantumania, because, if you really want to catch the audience attention again, you want to have something to go out with a bang. And Guardians did go out with a bang. Just wish they would start the Phase 5 instead of Ant-Man and just hubba hubba hibba. But yeah, I would give this movie a 9 out of 10. What did you guys think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? What would you rank it between all the other films? Where would you rank it within your MCU film list? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.